What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 25th day of July, and here we are in the final days of July, sitting at about $117.3 thousand with about 22 hours left in the day. It's a new day, and yesterday, with the close that we had, we set a rather significant base potentially to bounce from. I think that today will come back up and close to the green side, if I'm correct. And if I'm wrong, whatever, maybe we go down a little bit lower and that's okay. If we're looking at the RSI here, you did reject the overbought zone. And as I was saying in the last couple of days worth of videos for Bitcoin, we would at least go to the 60 to bounce, if not the 50, right? And as of right now, it looks like we might be going to the 50, but hold up. Okay, hold up. If we look at this, we dissect this RSI a little bit more. You can see that yesterday, right, the 24th, today's the 25th, yesterday's the 24th, right here, we closed right there, just above the 60, right there at the 61. I mean, it's pretty damn close. And if today were to close green, we'd be effectively bouncing off the 60. And maybe it doesn't close green, maybe it closes slightly red, and we actually get that 60 read on the RSI. But I have a feeling, I have a suspicion that we're near the end of this consolidation phase. And it's not just the RSI that helps suggest that, right? I mean, if we're looking at this and comparing it to how we've moved over the past, few months now, since April, whenever we moved up here, we moved sideways like this, and then we moved up and we moved sideways like this. And time again, we kept hitting the same areas for support, but slowly but surely higher lows. Time and time again, the same areas for support, but higher lows. And we'd consolidate moving sideways, and then we'd move up. Here, we've moved up, we've consolidated moving sideways, hitting the same areas for support time and time again, but we have higher lows overall. I can't help but think that we're at the area where we would bounce. In fact, that this is exactly where I think we would bounce. Putting it in comparison with this area over here, even thinking of it like this, right? Look at this. You had this move up, you had a higher daily close and everything, came back down, higher daily close. That was actually the highest daily close. It was on the 22nd. We came back down. The RSI back here in this area did bounce right off the 60, and that's if today were to close green, we would be bouncing right off of that area too. So just in the similar effect, today, this day here where we did close on the RSI right at this level, that day started off to the downside, and then we came up closing green. The next day even started off to the downside, but then we started to rip and run and rally. I'm thinking that today might have a similar effect. While right now it looks like a full body to the downside, in the next 21 hours, 56 minutes, it wouldn't surprise me if it came back up and we closed with the wick to the upside, as we have the past couple of days, as we typically do on these red days. But as I'm saying that the price is actually moving lower. So let's look at this on a short-term time frame, and then we'll see if we can divulge some more information. So looking at this on the 15-minute, the RSI is pretty damn oversold, you guys. We're down at below a 15 on the RSI, which is pretty damn low. If we zoom out here, zoom out to the maximum, I mean, we haven't seen a lower reading than this. Let's see. We've only seen one lower reading than this, and this was back in the beginning of July, back before we were even at new all-time highs, you guys. Back all the way, right? This is here. This is all the way back here on July 4th, 4th of July, that day there. And we didn't really start to rally afterwards. We moved sideways for good, but this is the 15-minute time frame. So from the 4th here all the way over here, that's the 9th. That was like a 5-day span right there. But then we really started to run. Maybe between now and the next 5 days, sometime next week, that could be when we really begin to run. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be today. It could be, but perhaps it's sometime next week that we start to rally. But either way, I don't believe that we go too much lower. Perhaps we do go below this low here. Perhaps we go just below 117K, and that really could happen. We are seeing some very weak readings in the RSI. There's a lot of volume coming in as we're moving down. A lot of longs got cleared out with this recent move here. If we're looking at the BTC liquidations on the 30-day time frame, if I refresh this, there were a lot of longs that got liquidated. Overall, we've got like $10 billion of shorts just to get back to 125K. Over the last day, we've been tracking the daily longs to shorts ratio here, and the shorts have piled on in comparison to the longs. The longs were higher. If you remember my last Bitcoin video that I made at the later part of July 24th there, the longs are actually pretty tied up with the shorts, but they were slightly above. Now the shorts are well above the longs, and perhaps we come down a little bit. You would think, looking at this, you would think that you would clear out all of these longs before moving up higher, and maybe we do, maybe we don't. And if we were to do that, we could move below 116K. It's very possible. But if you've been following this like I have, it's almost like these are barriers. And as you get closer to this side, it pushes back this way, right? You'd think there'd be more reason to clear out the longs, and so we would move lower. But normally, and I'm not trying to jinx it, but normally that's not the case. The fact that we're actually this close to this, I want to say, barrier of liquidity might actually push us in the other direction. There is more money to be had to the short squeeze effect, to the upside. So we'll see if that happens. A lot of volume here. And in fact, this last candle that we just closed on the 15-minute time frame had less volume, and we moved lower. We've got a lot of wicks coming in. It's Wick City down in this area. It's quite literally Wick City, day in and day out. 15-minute time frame in and 15-minute time frame out. We're very oversold. I would think that even if we do go lower, we at least get some kind of pop here, maybe up to about 118,000, and then we go lower, something like that. Or this could be the low. This very well could be the low for the day, and perhaps a higher low of this overall range that sets us up to move up over the coming days, if not sometime next week. So, and as I say that, I think I'm jinxing it because it just keeps moving lower as I say that. It's not the low. It's gonna keep going down, guys. That's what's gonna happen. I should just say that, because then it'll probably move up. 1 hour time frame here. If we're looking at the 1 hour, let's see. The 1 hour RSI is at a good area to bounce right here at the oversold zone. We've bounced here around this area once before, twice, 3 times before, 4 times before. We're right in that zone where we do like to bounce. So it's very possible that we do hold this zone and then move higher. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. That's what I'm betting is going to happen here. I don't know what that was. If we're looking at this on a 4 hour time frame, the 4 hour RSI is at the lowest levels that we've been at, I think, in this whole range. Yeah. We are literally right now at the lowest levels that we've been at throughout this whole range in the RSI. So, and yet we have a higher low. This is actually one of the highest lows that we've had in this whole range as well. And we do have 1 hour, 52 minutes left. Remember what I said, typically we move up. So this RSI, while it has the lowest reading now, if we move back up, it actually won't. We might have a higher low or some kind of bounce off the 40 area, which has been very productive for Bitcoin in recent history. So, time will tell, but by the time you guys watch this video, by the time most of you watch this video, I wouldn't be surprised if we were seeing a little bit of a bounce from here. Does it sustain is the question, right? Do we sustain, or do we bounce up, find resistance at about 118K, and then move back down? That's the question that I have. We could, go below this low. We could even go below this low. It's still very possible, my friends, that we could go down to 115 to 114K. There is a lot of liquidity, a lot of longs to get liquidated at those levels. And we'll see if this zone holds, but I would expect at least a little bit of volatility now. And of course, being that we have 1 hour and 51 minutes left in this 4 hour time frame, not always. There's a few candles that are solid bodies, but typically the I'd say like 60% of the time or more, we do finish these candles off with a wick to the downside. So I would think we pull up our skirt a little bit over the next hour and 51 minutes. We'll see. And by the end of today, I would anticipate that we are closer to neutral, closer back to where we opened the day at 118.3K, if not even green, by the end of this day. But we'll see. And I think that the time to break out and see new all-time highs is coming. We should be there. I mean, we're at 11 days deep consolidating now. These consolidation phases, I think the longest one was this one right here, and that was about, 13 days? From this consolidation phase to the time that you started moving up, 14 days, right? And technically you broke out on the 16th day, but I would say that you finished consolidating, you started moving up really on that 14th day there. That would be my way of looking at it there. So, here, 11 days, maybe we consolidate over the weekend, then the 14th day is Monday, we start to move up, something like that. We're very near completion of this consolidation phase. Unless, of course, we do see some kind of shakeout. And even then, even if we do get some kind of shakeout below 115K, I would expect it to be fast and violent, and then we move back to the upside just as fast and violent. So it's just a matter of time, guys. It's really just a matter of time before we see new all-time highs. I've got nothing else for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right?